Greetings! I'm Francesco, welcome back to this new video. In this video I'm going to speak about one of the nutrients that is, in my opinion, one of the best performance enhancer possible. It's super cheap, it's legal, and it's very effective. This is sodium. Yes, sodium. What we think sodium usually in table salt. Now table salt is sodium chloride, and we use that almost every day. It's very common. Even in the past, this was demonized because, you know, sodium causes water retention, sodium will raise your pressure, and so on forth and so on. But there are news now. I suggest to everyone to follow Stan Effendi on his video and see his video on sodium now. I've taken inspiration from him and doing this video also for improve my English skills and so forth and so on. By the way, there are new researches that show that under 3 grams of sodium per day eating less than 3 grams of sodium per day can be detrimental to health, and it's even worse than taking too much sodium in your diet. By the way, sodium seems to lower the all-causes mortality and reduce the chance to have health problems. No? Otherwise, in the past, it was thought that it was the opposite. By the way, let's start with all the benefits of sodium. One. Sodium increases blood volume. More blood volume means more oxygen and nutrients to the muscle, especially this helps to remove waste and causing water retention in the muscle, and volumizing the blood will give you a lot more strength, more endurance, and it also will help you to prevent injuries because it also helps to lubricate the joints, and joint lubrication is extremely important for when you want to prevent injuries, for health, especially in longevity, because you don't want your joints grind each other. For example, that's why nandrolone, an anabolic steroid, is so loved by powerlifter and wrestler and other kind of athletes, because lubricate your joints, it will give you far more stability working out, and we prevent all kind of injuries. That's very important, because if you get injured, you risk to finish your career prematurely. Some injuries can be so bad you will never recover and you will never reach a top level anymore. By the way, how sodium increase strength and endurance? Well, it will pump water into your muscle, and more water into your muscle will help with energy and oxygen, nutrients, and a lot of other stuff. That's also a reason why carbs help with your athletic performance, because also carbs bind to water and will push water into the muscle. Now glycogen in the muscle will take water with it. That's one other reason why sodium can solve some low-carb diet issues. For example, the lack of energy and the lack of strength can be because the lack of blood volume and water retention inside the muscle, and sodium can fix that. If you feel like shit on a low-carb diet or a ketogenic diet, try to increase your sodium, and it will give you immediately a bump in energy. Furthermore, sodium will give you extremely good pump. It's among the best substances to increase your pump possible. It's on par with things like Viagra and Cialis that are vasodilator, and with, if we want to go to the extremes, IGF, insulin-like growth factor. All of these will give you an extreme pump. But sodium is legal and is super cheap, and you don't have to have a prescription for it now. It's over the counter, and maybe table salt is everywhere. Then we have to pay attention if we use performance-enhancing drugs like growth hormone, testosterone, androgen, because growth hormone itself, estrogen caused by the aromatization of anabolic steroids, and progesterone that can be elevated because of use of nandrolone and trenbolone that are not good. These hormones will make you far more sensitive to sodium, so will retain far more sodium than a natural athlete. So if you use these drugs, you should take less sodium than a normal person. So what is the dosage I suggest of sodium? Now, if you're an athlete who work hard, I suggest 1 gram every half liter of water you drink, or 4 gram every half gallon of liter you drink if you come from an athlete and you use the imperial system. But this is your hard athlete now. If you're like a sedentary person who just work in the office all day without training, you will eat less water and less sodium. Then there are other things that can matter about this. For example, if you live in Africa or in some hot countries like Brazil, very wet, when you sweat a lot, you should take more water and more sodium. Otherwise, if you live in Norway or some cold and dry country, you will use far less sodium. What else? What kind of sodium source we should prefer? Well, I personally use both table salt like Himalayan pink salt, that is a suggestion that you should take a table salt that has a color, because a color means that there are a lot more other minerals, and that's useful. Now it's not just pure sodium chloride. So I use Himalayan pink salt together with a potassium salt. Now I want to maintain my sodium and potassium intake on par, because the sodium potassium pump and another other reason. In the next video we are going to speak about potassium. By the way, yes, try to use, in my opinion, both sodium chloride and potassium chloride together with your meal and in your pre and post workout shake. For example, take 2 grams of Himalayan pink salt and 2 grams of potassium chloride. In the United States there is the new salt. In other countries there is like low sodium salt, usually is potassium chloride. 2 grams of Himalayan pink salt, 2 grams of potassium chloride in your pre-workout shake and your post-workout shake. That will give you an immense pump, and a great increase of strength and endurance, and you also will help you to absorb more nutrients with your pre or post-workout drink, because sodium is fundamental, for example, to the delivering of creatine inside the muscle. Now, sodium is the king. Now, together with insulin and also caffeine, now are also useful. But I mean, taking all three together, like sodium, caffeine, and carbs, to make our body produce insulin, or just pin insulin if you're using drugs, performance-enhancing drugs. By the way, sodium will help with the delivery of nutrients, like as we said before, no? Even with your meal, and especially with your carbohydrates, will really help to store carbohydrates inside the muscle instead in the fat. And also, sodium will make you very full, no? Your muscle will look full and swole instead of flat, no? Having flat muscle is typical of low-carb diet, like ketogenic diet, no? Sodium can help to fix this, and even more if you eat carbohydrates, it will make your muscle even bigger and pumped up. And this is a typical stuff, no? It's very common that after a cheat meal, you see yourself the next day full and bigger. Why? It's not only because of carb, but it's not because of sodium. No, it will push water into your muscle and will make fuel, and also more shredded because it will push the muscle to the surface, toward the skin. No, make you full and tight. Then we should speak also about water retention. No, a lot of people want to stay low on sodium because sodium causes water retention. I will be bloated and with a moon face and stuff like that. But this happens only when you increase your sodium intake suddenly. Instead, and this usually also only lasts a couple of days. But if you maintain your sodium intake constant, you will have no water retention. This happens because when your body is afraid not to have sodium, it tries to retain more sodium as possible. No, he is in the scarcity mode. He's in fear. But after a couple, and when you give him sodium for the first time, after a lot of time on a low sodium diet, he will try to retain to maintain all the sodium possible, and this will give you a moon phase in a bloated body. But after a couple of days, when your body will understand that having sodium is not a problem anymore, he can have all the sodium you want, he will relax and try to flush out everything. So you will have water retention problems only for 2 days, and then you will pee out everything and flush out everything. It will be shredded as fuck, and you will be fuller, shredded, stronger, more energy, more endurance, a lot of energy. Sodium is really one of the best performance enhancer ever. Okay. Well, that's it. Try this and let me know in the comments, because this is something that can really change your training career, sport career. I don't really know how to say in English, but it will change your physique and performance. By the way, for this time in evening, we can see you the next time on with a potassium video, because potassium must be balanced with sodium, and that also is very helpful for athletic performance and look, because a balanced sodium with potassium, balanced sodium with potassium level, or balanced potassium with sodium level will help you to flush out everything. That's it. See you next time. I have a little scar on my forehead because I hit my head on a Saturday evening, but that's another story. And I'm also in pajamas, ready to go to bed. Now, let's see the condition of this day, if I look good. Not bad. See you next time.